return on that time. Now, in my head, it's not just a return on money. Hannah and I behind the camera have a little, can you wave? So that they are super aware of ROTI. So what they do is they're very strict on their systems and their processes. And this builder can flip, buy, refurbish and sell this property for a £20,000 profit. Just one construct is still one linear source of income, and therefore there's no compounded wealth because the return on time invested just isn't any better than it was before. Property investors versus amateur landlord or landladies. What is the difference? Today we're going to explore all about that and the concept of return on time invested. Okay, so to explore those, I want everybody to understand the concept of ROTI, which is return on time invested. And that is an enormously important factor that most people, especially the amateur landlord landladies, completely eradicate from their workings out, their deal calculation. But actually, to understand that is a complete paradigm shift. So, as we all know, time is the only thing you cannot create more of. You can always create more money, but you can't create more time. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. You know, yes, we're living longer and longer, but that doesn't mean you should waste it. So time is that valuable asset that we have. How you spend that becomes absolutely critical as to whether you're living a successful and enjoyable life or not, in my concept. So ROTI is everything. So we really need to think about the return on that time. Now, in my head, it's not just a return on money. Okay, so we're thinking, well, okay, well, I'm consulting, I'm a high level consultant, so I'm £500 an hour, that's the return on my time. Great, and that's an easy calculation, but I don't just mean the return from a financial perspective, because we're not just linear here, we're not just money grabbing objects. Life's about so many more things than just finance. And what else could you be getting a return on with that time? Well, for me, some of the most valuable time is, you know, the time that I spend with my kids. What return am I getting there? It's not financial. In fact, it's cost me a hell of a lot of money, but it's wonderful. It's heartwarming. It's what I aspire to be as a parent. It could be the return on your health when you're investing time into the gym in the morning or going for your run or playing the sport. It might be that when you hang out with your friends, you're not really benefiting yourself financially or health-wise or even with your family, but you find that really nourishing for you as a person, and there's enjoyment and there's fun and there's laughter. Well, that of course is a return as well. I like to think as all time being invested. So whatever I'm doing, even being here with you right now, is me investing my time into something that I'm hoping is going to give me some form of return. That return, as discussed, could be financial, might be health-wise, might be spiritually, might just be fun, laughs, and Hannah and I behind the camera have a little, can you wave? So we have a bit of a laugh doing this all the time, and obviously we're investing in our business whilst doing it, and hopefully also investing in your future, so the return is fantastic. But understanding the return on time invested and the paradigm that that creates is absolutely critical to looking at professional investing mindset versus the amateur. Okay, so first of all, I want to explore the professional property investor. Now, these people are obviously very aware of the concept of return on time invested. So when they attack property, it is often with ROTI in mind. What you will find from these people is they'll set up teams and systems, and they will not get involved in the day-to-day running of the building a portfolio and their property investments. They will be very conscious of the time that they're spending building their property business as much as they are anything else. So whilst they're not factoring in time into a deal sheet, they are very aware that their time is probably better spent elsewhere. And whether that's a choice of spending it somewhere where they choose to for financial reasons, or whether that's choosing to spend it with family. So that they are super aware of ROTI. So what they do is they're very strict on their systems and their processes. They're real team orientated people. So they will work with teams to deliver. And we flip that around and look at the amateur landlord side of things. What you find with a lot of these people is whilst they're excited about the concept of leverage, excited about the concept of passive income, they become so involved in their property journey, whether that's, pounding the streets for viewings, whether that's getting involved with project management, whether that's getting involved with painting the walls or putting the doors up, or any other aspect, that when they step back and look at their return, whilst their returns on paper may be comparable to the professional investor, when they factor in the return on time, it is absolutely gold. It's off the chart. It's completely different. Probably one of the best ways of describing this is when we look at builders. So builders take on a project and they'll say, oh, I can buy this house and I can do the refurb for £30,000, whilst if we used a contractor and the contractor was building profit and this and that and the other, it would be £40,000, for instance. And this builder can flip, buy, refurbish and sell this property for a £20,000 profit. And they can do that cheaper than you can do. But what they don't do is factor in any money for their time. So they'll flip this house over a year, they'll make £20,000 on it, but they haven't paid themselves in any other way. So actually they never compound their wealth and they never actually move forward, they never get any wealthier. They're flipping houses instead of working for other people, but it's just one construct, it's still one linear source of income, and therefore there's no compounded wealth because the return on time invested just isn't any better than it was before. Now, there's a big construct here about doing what the successful people do, and it's very easy to think at the beginning of your journey with not a lot of money potential that you have to be more and more involved. And whilst I understand and respect that, and let's face it, have done it, it's actually not the route through to success. To be successful, you model what success looks like, you model what successful people do, and you believe in the return on time invested, you believe in scale. Okay, so we've explored that, and hopefully that's been pretty transparent. We understand return on time invested, and we also understand the sort of professional versus amateur mindset. Now listen, I don't want to be sort of, there's only one way to do this. That's just not the case. But what I want for you guys is that you get very clear at the beginning, set your stall out, understand and be very clear on who it is you want to be, which path you're going to take. Are you going to be the professional investor, or are you going to be this sort of more amateur investor, landlady scenario? Are you going to be super involved and therefore give up time? Something's got to give somewhere else. Or are you going to stay true to the passive income scenario and be very clear on return on time invested, employ the team, employ the company to do the job, and actually sit back and take the rewards? I know you feel like I'm leaning this way. Actually, I'm not. I've done both. But be clear about what it is that you're trying to achieve and deploy the right strategy to get you where we want to go. Obviously, needless to say, if you want to go down the passive investor route and not get involved and be very clear about you and your return on your time, feel free to get in touch with the NPP Group, because that's what they were built to do. They were built to serve you, the professional investor who needs the team to deliver. If you take the other route, absolutely fantastic, absolutely understand it. That's how I started too. I just didn't last very long there because, let's face it, it's a bit crap. Hope you've enjoyed exploring the professional versus amateur investor mindset with us today and the concept of return on time invested. If we've added any value to you, then please like, share, follow, do all that good stuff, and we look forward to seeing you real soon.